You're going to have to be prepared to bring in other people and delegate, because there's no way you can do this by yourself. And the premium is not you're doing it all yourself. The premium is you're understanding what to do and bringing in other people and making sure that they can do. That's where you extend yourself through the organization. A person who understands how to choose the right person for the job, a person who then is able to help the person grow into the job. Secondly, a person who's able to communicate what's in their head, whether it's the plan or the vision or the sale that needs to be made, a person who can actually articulate that. Third, a person who's well enough disciplined and organized to have a plan for the company, a plan for themselves, a plan for their day, a plan for the time, recognizing that time is the only non-renewable resource. You will not get yesterday again. You will not have today again. So you really need to focus on the priority things when you're growing a company. Thinking they have to make all the decisions themselves and do everything themselves and be totally responsible for everything themselves. And wanting to be in the center, wanting to be the person that everybody comes to because it's so powerful for your ego. It's almost like a drug. And recognizing that the more they depend on you, the more you become the single point of failure for the company. And you can't afford to do that. You cannot let that happen for the good of the company. We'll all get things wrong, no question. And the ability to recover from failure, from mistakes, very important that you say, well, that didn't work. Why didn't it work? What are we not going to do again? Moving on. But to the extent that you can then learn rapidly from that and not make that mistake again is the extent to which then you'll be able to grow rapidly. And so if you keep making the same mistake over and over, shame on you, right? You're not taking the time to learn. If you find that you're not taking time to explain to your employees and they're making the same mistake, shame on you, because it's part of your job is to teach and communicate. If you find the company is having the same problems over and over, then you have to look at what the vision is and which market you're in and which product market fit and whether that's right, because the whole strategy may be wrong. I think if you start with the intent to grow and you've experienced some success, you want to grow more. If you started the company because you inherited it from your dad, or you just started because you had to get a job and you didn't really have any intent to grow, and I think you're really kind of surprised when you are successful enough to be able to take money out at the end of the year because you didn't really realize you were going to grow, and you take the money out because you're not sure next year you will grow. And so we're not sure whether we keep the machine going, and so we'll take the money out, buy the house, or buy the car, or whatever. But if you really believe that you're onto something, and you have advisors, and you have employees who are also believing in you, and then you're going to want to keep the money in the company and help that company grow, and have deferred gratification where you take the money out later, after you've sold or after it's much bigger and healthier. Yeah. So I certainly never expected to be an entrepreneur. The part of the story I didn't tell was it turns out my dad couldn't keep a job. And here's my stepmother now, married to someone with a 6-year-old, to a guy who can't keep a job, which was the nemesis for her, right? So he finally said, if you back the family, I'll start a company. And she thought, well, that's the only choice. Because if he doesn't work for himself, we're going to have this endless process of his not having a job. And so he became an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur when I was growing up was somebody who couldn't keep a job. So I wasn't definitely going to be one of those. So I didn't grow up expecting to be an entrepreneur at all. But I was so hungry to build something around what it was that I envisioned that would be the solution to a problem that I was seeing. And it took a while for me to realize that that actually is what an entrepreneur is. Sees an opportunity or sees a need in the market and understands what to do to actually create the solution to the need, right? So I found myself then becoming an entrepreneur, or beginning to understand that I was an entrepreneur, and being comfortable with that. And once that happened, then I've always been into building things ever since then. Be passionate about what they're doing, and if they are, then they can be successful. Persistence, passion, resilience, incredibly important. Do not be like the people that are on their deathbed with the 5 regrets of the dying. I wish I had challenged myself more. I wish I had laughed more. I wish I'd kept up with my friends. I wished I had not spent so much time in the office, hadn't worked so hard, and I wished I had not tried to be what somebody else wanted me to be, but be the person that I want to be. I don't think of working hard as work. I think of it as the very best way to live my life. So I'm not counting those hours, those weekends. It's just really exciting for me to be producing the stuff in the short amount of time given the goal that I have. But as I said to them earlier, there are sacrifices along the way you have to be willing to make for the greater good down the path.